everybody. My name is Hannah.
And I'm Jen.
And we're really excited that you're here with us today. Today, Jen and I want to discuss a little bit more a question that we get every year, multiple times a year, from multiple students. And it's just the question of, is it okay to date at my age?
That's right.
And Jen, what is always our response to that question?
Well, and I think it's so interesting because we have such a wide range of ages
That's right.
that we're reaching to, you know, like my middle school kids, 11, 12, 13, your high school kids, 15, 16, 17, 18, and we even have some adults tuning in, so hi to you adults. This is for you if you're single and ready to mingle. But I think that the first thing I have to come back to, Hannah, is it wise?
Yeah.
Is it wise? Why are you doing it? What is your motivation? And is that out of a godly motivation? Is it like, I'm ready to get married, I'm ready for the emotional aspect of this, I'm ready to really date, fall in love, and get married? Or am I needing to fill something that maybe I'm not going to God to fill?
I love what you said there about motivation, and I think my question that I would want to push back to you is what is a good motivation? Like when you say that, you say you need to have a healthy motivation. What is a healthy motivation?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's easier to pinpoint unhealthy motivations.
Yeah.
Like I think about when I was in middle school and high school, I had a lot of unhealthy relationships, and it was because I was trying to fill that empty spot in my heart that I should have been trying to fill with God, but I didn't really have a right relationship with Him. Yeah. And so I was very trying to find that other half, but I wasn't whole. I wasn't healthy. I wasn't actually a good person to date because of that. And so we often find people who, they're not ready. You're not ready. If you don't know who you are in the Lord, I would say we're not ready.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think in that then, Jen, because I was the same as a young person, like you have such a lack of self-awareness. And yes, there's a lot of you who are mature, more mature than what your age range is, but there's something that comes with living life and maturing and growing as a person that you end up having a little bit more self-awareness for yourself. And so what do we do as young people when we don't have that self-awareness? Like what should our response be in that?
Yeah, and I think it's also not having that self-awareness, but also your hormones are going crazy.
So true. Yeah.
Like, cause physically you're ready to go. You're ready to like get going. But emotionally, they actually say that women don't finish developing mentally and emotionally until 30 years old, and men until 40. And so that joke that parents say, like, you're not ready to date till you're 30, there's a part of me that's like, actually, I kind of wish I had waited till I was 30 because I know so much more now. But anyways, back to your question, back to when you're a teenager and you're going, okay, but like, what do I do? What's your thought?
I think that's where I always come back to what my answer is, which is what your parents say. And I think that's where it's so important when you acknowledge, hey, I actually don't understand myself enough yet. I haven't experienced a full life yet. I'm just, like you said, getting going. I'm at the starting point here. And as a teenager, that's really what that is. And I think that's really when, if you have healthy parents or even really healthy grandparents or sisters or brothers, someone who is older than you, they're mature in years and in life, who can say, hey, probably not a good idea, or who can say like, hey, I see this, this, and this in the person you're wanting to date, and it's not healthy, and so I don't think you should date. I'm not saying not date at all, but that person, and to really listen to that counsel, because they know, like they do, especially if your parents are like in their 30s, 40s, 50s. It's like there's a lot of experience and wisdom there.
Yeah, and I think I can imagine some of you guys at home rolling your eyes as we say that, and it's like, like, listen to my parents, that's the best you got. But actually that is the best that we've got, because like Hannah said, if your parents are healthy, they love you, and they really do want what's best for you. And I know you don't want to believe this right now, but actually our parents are wiser than us for the most part. And they want what's best for us. And as I've grown older, because I did not believe that when I was 14 or 15, But now I go to my mom, it sounds really silly, I'm 31, but I'll go to my mom and be like, Mom, I feel like stuck about this, what do you think? And she usually pushes it back on me, but we have this dialogue because I recognize that she's lived a lot longer, she's learned from things, and I would rather learn from her mistakes rather than make my own. I'm going to make enough of my own. If I can learn some from her, great. And so when it comes to dating, your parents want what's best for you, and that's why they're going, you know what, maybe this guy or maybe this girl isn't actually the best thing right now.
And maybe for you too, you're like, I know I'm not ready to date. I don't want to date. But your parents are saying the same thing about some of the people that you're choosing as friendships. And when it comes to relationships in general, your parents do have so much wisdom because they probably have had friends who have led them astray, or they've led friends astray, like been on either side, and they understand the damage that actually creates in us and what that does to our development, because as a teenager, you are in a key developing stage of your life, and to take that seriously so that you don't, as an adult, have some of the pitfalls that maybe your parents made those mistakes and had, right?
Yeah, pitfalls and pain. I would like to say pain. Because when you are making these huge relationship errors, your heart is usually really involved, right? That's why we get into relationships. And there's a lot of pain. And why go there when you could listen to someone else's wisdom and maybe not go through quite as much heartache? And I also come back to Proverbs 1. And 1:8 says this, "My child, listen when your father corrects you, and don't neglect your mother's instruction." And there's like this idea in the Bible of we're supposed to honor and obey our parents, right? And we're supposed to listen to them. And so I think sometimes we struggle with what does that mean, to honor and obey? We get obey, do what they say. But that whole honoring thing, and I think that this in Proverbs, it says it so well because it's more than just obeying, it's listening to their instruction. When they're guiding you and offering you that wisdom, are we open to it at least? Like, you don't have to take everything your parents say and go, oh yes, okay, I bow down to that. No, like your parents make errors just like we make errors, just like you make errors. But are you at least open to hearing that wisdom and praying it through yourself and going, God, like my mom said this, would you show me your thoughts on it? And he will.
That diligent seeking of wisdom, so that when you because I think everything that comes from our parents' mouth is not going to be deep and wise.
That's right.
That's just the reality of it. But to be able to know in yourself and be open to the thing of like, actually maybe this is some really sound wisdom that I'm hearing right now. And to take that maybe to, if you have friends who have really godly parents, to say like, hey, what are your thoughts on it? Like, don't just restrict it to your parents, but if you have really godly friends who are from a godly home, to like ask that question too. Or ask of your friend, what are your parents saying about this? And get that feedback from trustworthy people. I think is deep down what we're saying, and from a place of respect, because you respect their experience, you respect their knowledge, you expect their wisdom.
Yeah. And I think that we're kind of running out of time, to be honest with you. And I think what I would love to do is, we've got this whole setup here. We're going to break, look for part 2 of this series, because we're going to dive into what culture says and what media says about honoring and obeying parents, and thinking critically about even like some of the songs that we're singing. So stay tuned, look for part 2 of this series, and let's get into this.
See you later.
Bye.